Hey everybody, welcome back to Conversations. If this is your first time checking this out, thank you so much for doing so. Today, I got Joey Seaman here with me, and we're going to be discussing his company, Novaecho. Joey, why don't you introduce yourself to everybody?
Hey guys, my name is Joey Seaman. I'm the founder and CEO of Novaecho.ai. So I'll give you a little backstory on how I started the company, my background in business, and how I got into all this, and then we can go from there. So I'm 16 right now. So when I was 14, that's when I first got into business, and actually I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur my whole life since I was very little, and that had a lot to do with how my mom was raising me. But as I got older, when I was 14, I got into something called affiliate marketing, which is where I was posting organic content on social media. So I was doing Instagram mostly. I was also doing YouTube and TikTok and Twitter. It was Twitter at the time, and I learned a lot about how to build a brand, how to do organic content, how to edit videos and make them go viral. So I was getting millions of views. I grew to, I believe, 13,000 followers in about 3 months, which is pretty good. It could have been better, but it was pretty good. And I was on a track to keep going up and up. And on Instagram, that's where I did it. It was on Instagram. So Instagram is very exponential. When you start out, you get very few views, very few comments, very few likes. But then as time goes on, you get more and more, and it's straight up. So I was on track to do a lot, but I actually paused that because one of my good friends that I met early last year in high school actually was running a marketing agency. So I got involved with his agency. I stopped doing my organic content for affiliate marketing and I started applying a lot of those skills to the marketing agency. And we got a couple clients. That was some of the first real money I ever made, and it felt amazing. And then from there, me and him actually decided to create an AI automation agency where we were selling AI chatbots, so text-based chatbots to businesses. And we were only running that for about a month. And then I found this other company that was doing conversational voice AI. So that's what we do. Novaecho is my company now, and it's a conversational voice AI company. I found a different company that was doing it at this time, and that was about 7 months ago, 8 months ago. And I was like, wow, this is the future. There's no point in doing text based when voice based is going to be the next big thing. So I talked to him and we basically said, okay, there's no room for this anymore. Right? It's not going to work because voice AI is going to take over everything. So I went the voice AI route. He went back and started a new marketing agency. He rebranded everything and he's working on that still. So I started Novaecho. I actually was using this other company's software. I did a little partnership with them and it was going very well. But there were some issues. There were some things that I didn't love. I didn't like how they're spending their money. There's a couple of things. I don't want to mention the company because I don't want to say anything bad about them. But there was a lot of things that I knew could be improved. So about 5 months ago, I actually removed myself from that whole space. I left the company and I started my own conversational voice AI company. So it's under the same brand, but now it's ours, and we've improved a lot of those problems that I was seeing with the last company I worked with. And because I was part of their company for so long, I was able to see the problems that they probably couldn't see because they were on top. So it actually helped me a lot when starting this company because I have the experience of somebody who's just coming into a company, but I'm also starting. So it helped a lot with starting that. So that's an overview of me and how I came to start Novaecho.
That's awesome. So you've been involved in business for roughly 2 years now, and you've been in the business of marketing for maybe about a year and a half, it sounds like, and then Nova Echo specifically just over a year, and then as much as or as soon as 5 months ago, you really started to push Nova Echo and bringing it into your own vision, your own goal, and that's awesome.
Thank you. Yes.
So conversational AI is really unique because it's basically taking Chat GBT and you're giving it a voice, right? So you're just taking this text-based AI, which is a lot of people know Chat GBT. That's why I reference it. Um, but conversational AI is kind of a little bit more niche. It's a little bit newer, right? The tech is it's still developing, right? And we're still training the AI up some more and making it sound more realistic. And so I wonder how long did it take for you to get the voices and everything to really come down nice and sound and proper to make it sound like an actual human conversation versus like a robot talking to you?
Yeah, good question. So there is, I mean, it's not easy. There's a lot of work that goes behind making voices sound good. Uh, the voice providers that we use did some of that work for us, but there's also a lot of work that we have to do on our side. I'd say making voices sound really good will take at the minimum a couple months, minimum with a lot of work. I'm talking like nonstop and a good, nice sized team and capital, obviously. If you want it to sound perfect, it's going to take longer, and we're continuing to improve our voices along with all the other features. Uh, but yeah, I mean, it depends on too many factors to give you an exact answer. It's not easy though.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really interesting to know that it takes, I was thinking maybe like a couple days, right? 3, 4 days, because I'm thinking like it's computer software just running through, running through, running through. But you make it sound like it's a lot, and there probably is. I don't know too much about it, but there's probably so much more that goes on behind the scenes that people just don't ever realize.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So, what's some early successes you could tell us about Novaecho?
It's a good question. So let's see. In late December, we launched our Done With You program, and I made this very extensive course that goes along with it. So our Done With You is basically like a kind of a do-it-yourself slash we give you extra support, so Done With You kind of program where we don't actually have to build out the specific AI agents for companies. We allow them to do it themselves. So I built out this course. I spent a couple weeks on it. It's like a couple hours, but it was just nonstop. I went through every single piece of the software. I went through the CRMs we use. I went through everything, and I taught how to use it, when you should use it, etc. And I put it all into this nice course. I packaged it up. So that was huge. That was a very early success. That was probably only a couple weeks after we launched the product because that's a very important first step. Teach people how to use it,
Hmm.
and that changed everything because instead of me having to hop on calls with people and teach them every single time because I don't have time to do that, I could just send them the
Right.
course. How do I do this? Check this video. How do I do that? Check this video. And then it makes everything a lot easier. So I'd say that was a big success. Another one was when we released our V2 dashboard, version 2 dashboard. So we had the V1 dashboard. There was very few people with us when that happened, so I don't know if anybody even remembers that, but it was, it didn't look amazing. It didn't look amazing. The V2 dashboard right now, it looks great. It has a lot of features, and we're actually about to release our V3 this week, which has like 10 times more features. So that's super exciting.
That's really interesting. So you guys went from V1 to V2, and very aggressively, you guys are already pushing out V3. And I say aggressive because in the terms of how fast you're pushing out better upgrades for your clients to be able to use, it can be the term aggressive fits, right? It's fast, it's rapid, especially considering the amount of work that goes behind all of these upgrades. So that's another unique thing about startups, is in order to keep up, right? We have to be very aggressive at the start and just keep attacking, attacking, attacking. When do you think you'll be able to take a step back and slow down just a pinch, so you're not having to make as many upgrades, and you think that Novaecho is going to be in a better place so that you have some more free time to do some other things that you enjoy besides just working on the company?
It's a good question. That's actually what I'm scared about. I don't want to slow down ever. I like moving fast. I like always being in that startup phase. I think
Mhm.
I don't know. It might have been Steve Jobs who said it. I think it was about Apple. I don't know the exact quote, but he said it's the biggest startup in the world. I think it was Apple, but that's because of the way they move. And now I don't know if
Mhm.
that really applies to them because they're very corporate, but I like that. I like that quote. I want to always be in that startup phase. I want to always be moving quick. I want to always be spending all my time on business. I do like doing other things, but I don't like anything more than just working and growing. So
Yeah, absolutely. That's a
yeah,
really solid answer.
I don't
That's a
want to.
really solid answer. That really is. Um, so I've done a little bit of research on Nova Echo, right? There's a few different things that really excite me. The first is that there's 11 different languages, meaning you guys are able to market or have, the market available on a more global scale, right? Um, which is really tough to do because when it comes to humans, right? And I'm thinking along, how Nova Echo can be cheaper for businesses rather than humans, right? Because human that you're hiring, you speak English, you need this person to speak English, but you also need them to speak another language as well, meaning they're a dual language user at minimum, potentially even three languages or four languages. People can learn languages at varying degrees, which is insane. But you have a robot able to, or artificial intelligence. I have to keep myself from saying robot. You have an artificial intelligence ready to go, ready to speak 11 different languages, including the accents for the various regions. Right? You have a British accent, for example, and an Australian accent, for example, that your artificial intelligence is able to use. So, have you seen that aspect being used frequently or infrequently at the moment?
Yeah, so the only languages we've really seen people are interested in using so far, the top four anyway, are English, of course, then Spanish, Portuguese, and Arabic.
Okay.
Now we don't actually have Arabic yet. We're working on that. We're working on that right now because that's big in the UAE, which is a huge market. But Spanish is probably the biggest one. The Brazilian market's also big. That's why Portuguese. We're working on a very good Portuguese accent that we're going to be adding to it, but you know that's not the easiest thing to do right now. So we have to find out how we can do that exactly. But the Spanish and English, in my opinion, and from the people around me, sound the best out of all the languages, and those are the most popular. So that's perfect, right? And the Spanish market is gigantic. I don't know if it's the second most popular language. I assume it is, or if not the first. Maybe English is the first.
So in a business world, English is the most popular language in the business world, right? Because it's widely considered the universal language.
Right.
Almost every country in the world speaks English to some degree, unless, of course, they're very remote, very third world. But any first world country is really going to be speaking English to some extent if they want to succeed as a business. So that's why it's always considered also the business language. Outside of that, Spanish can be very heavy just because there's multiple parts around the world that use it, right? Spain, all the way in Europe,
Right.
and we've got here in the Americas, right? We've got Mexico, Argentina, right, down in South America. So there's a lot of places around the world that use the language, which is another reason why it can be so popular as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what we've seen. So Spanish and English, definitely the biggest ones, and a lot of people are excited. My whole team speaks Spanish. I don't. I speak a little bit, but not enough to really have a conversation with the AI. But my whole team speaks it, and they all adore the Spanish agent. So yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. And then, so I see that you guys have 24/7 capabilities, right? Now, my question for you is, on average, what is your guys' response time to any servers issues, or server issues that would cause a downtime in that 24/7 capability?
Yeah, good question. So the 24/7, just to clarify, that's not our support, although we do give support basically 24/7, but that's the support that the AI can give your clients slash customers. Because it can be around all day, especially with the inbound. They call at 3 in the morning. A human's not going to be there, but an AI will. So yeah, we haven't really had many server issues at all. As we scale more, obviously, that's going to be a bigger issue, but we can scale the servers. That's not the hardest thing to do. It's pretty simple. I wouldn't say it's so easy, but it's pretty simple. So my camera's freaking out a little bit here, but
Yeah, that's all right.
but yeah, it's not really a problem. And if we do see it's a problem, that's definitely going to be the first thing we respond to in the morning when the devs can work.
Okay, nice. And so another thing, you guys have follow-ups available, or you can have your AI follow up with prospective customers for the market, right? What does that mean? What does that look like?
Yeah, so you can do as many follow-ups as you want. So basically, if you call people, if it's outbound calling, if you're following up after somebody fills out a Facebook form, whatever it is, if they don't answer, our AI will automatically tag them with did not answer. So there'll be a tag on their contacts. Now we can set up campaigns where if the tag is added, so if they did not answer, wait 2 minutes, call them again. Wait 2 hours, call them again. Wait 2 days, 2 weeks, whatever. So what we like to do is we like to wait maybe 6 hours, considering we call them in the morning, which you can also set. If you call them in the morning, wait 6 hours. If you call them, in the afternoon, then wait 2 hours. So you can do that as well. So let's say it's in the morning, we wait 6 hours. Then if they still don't pick up, we wait 2 days. If they still don't pick up, we wait a week. Then we wait a month, and then if they still don't pick up, they're a dead lead. But with a human, you can only really call them once because humans keep getting new leads. So you can't keep getting new leads and keep calling old leads because you'll have no time left. But the AI
Right.
doesn't need that because it can do it all at the exact same time, simultaneously.
That's awesome. That's brilliant. And I guess part of that comes down to I don't necessarily know too much about like the marketing industry in and of itself, whereas you've done tons and tons of research on it, going as far as understanding the typical call time for someone in a call center is about 2.75 hours, you said, out of 8 hours. And I'm pulling that directly from your video that I watched. It's in your, I guess,
In the insights page.
in the insights, yes, the very first video that pops up, what is Novaecho? And so I'm pulling that directly from you. And so what's brilliant is now you have this instead of 8 hour block of time being charged, you have that 2.75 block of time being charged based on the exact amount of time that the AI is on calls with customers, either inbound or outbound, which is another brilliant aspect and another reason why you said that I believe it's 538%, I think was the exact percentage that you gave. Cheaper.
Yeah, it was around 500%. I don't remember the exact one, but yeah. So basically, what I meant by that is in the average call center in America, out of an
Mm-hmm.
8-hour workday, that's all paid because you usually pay them per hour, and I believe the average wage is around $25 an hour for a setter in America. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what it is. And you're paying them for 8 hours, but they're actually
Right.
only on the phone for an average of 2.7 hours, which means for 5.3 hours, they're using the bathroom, they're talking to their friends, they're eating food, they're dialing, they're being like, they're getting all annoyed, they're hanging up the phone for a minute. So that time looks like my camera paused. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Okay, let me try to refresh that. Hmm. Let me switch to a different camera.
No worries. Do you mind if I have another guest pop in here?
Go for it.
See if he pops in. I did hit accept. Uh-oh. He must have seen. It's not really, I do have this more so meant for smaller calls, or a smaller call between just me and you with the opportunity to check in on my Twitch here and see what people are saying in the chat here on Vibe Hut as well. While we're waiting here, let me go ahead. I'm going to pull up the website And let me show it off to you guys just a little bit and show you what he's got going on over on Novaecho.ai. He's having some technical difficulties over there, which is not a problem. So when you first come in to Novaecho, this is what you're going to see. This is the very first thing that you see when you come in. I think it's brilliant that he's got a nice, vibrant color scheme here. It's very eye-catching. And one of the first things he has available here for us is that we can get a demo call. And you can see the products worked for yourself, which is brilliant. Being able to sit here and pick through a few of their different voices, another good thing to showcase. This is that done with you program that he was talking about. So that's like a classroom you can take essentially, or a series of videos that you can watch in order for while you're working with the program, it'll teach you how to use it properly and how to make sure you're doing the most efficient and being the most efficient that you can be with it. They've also got that agency or affiliate program, and then he's also got a program that he does where everything is just done for you and you are just utilizing the program as best you can for your sales. And then again, there's just all of those available with more coming soon. Over here, if we click onto the insights, this is the video that I was referencing earlier. It's got some great information about Novaecho and some of the stuff that we were able to talk about today and are talking about today is available from this video. It's much shorter, only 5 minutes of your time. And he's got a couple other videos available for you to watch as well to help understand conversational AI and how to use the program some more. Hey, welcome back. Uh-oh, your mic's muted at the moment. Trying to figure it out. Gotcha. I apologize again, folks. Sometimes technology is never as great as we intend it to be. Hopefully he's able to come back in here soon and get everything reconnected. Let's see. There we go. Joey, are you joining the live or are you trying to join the actual call? There is a slight difference in joining. In the call. There's a problem with Vibe Hut. Okay. Um. I wonder. Yeah, I wonder if your phone might work. So while we're waiting again, there's a few other really cool things about Nova Echo that I really like. It's got instantaneous connection due to its being an AI, meaning that unlike with humans, right? Once all the phones are booked, they're all booked and someone's sitting waiting, waiting, waiting. With the AI, they're able to join a call instantaneously, which I think is really neat and something that is unique to conversational AI in this market. Calls are transferable to human reps, meaning that once the customer is ready to buy into the product, the call or the AI will sit there and it'll transfer it over to someone that's human so that way they can close it. And let's see if we can get Joey back. What is going on? If you guys see me hopping on my phone here, I'm messaging Joey back and forth, trying to make sure we can get him in properly. It's got voicemail detection though. Another really interesting thing is that AI is able to now detect the voices and give a call back, give a response back, instead of having to wait for a human to come in and hear that. We now have the ability to detect these voicemails, make sure that it's not spam, make sure that it's going to be someone legit coming in and trying to have a business and have a profitable adventure or venture. There we go. Still muted though.
There we go. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. There we go. Welcome back.
Thank you. All right, so I'll talk like this. This works. So you want to go back to where we were?
So I covered a couple things while you were away as well. I brought up your website and I showed that off just a little bit, showing I really liked the bright colors that you had going on. I thought it was a really interesting color scheme and it was really eye-catching, which is important with websites, right? We want them to grasp attention. That way, people who are maybe just clicking around, browsing on the internet, looking for something, then it grabs their attention and it says, hey, look at me, I'm important, right? And I think you did a really good job of color scheming everything in there and making sure that the things that need to stand out properly, as well as just the navigatability on the website. I thought that was really well done as well.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
And then I went on to discuss how you have instantaneous connection, some transferable calls, and voicemail detection. Now, the thing that excites me probably the most, and this is simply because I'm going into healthcare for my career, is HIPAA compliance. And as a healthcare professional, HIPAA is very important to me because I have to always maintain HIPAA for my patients. I can't go on describing, oh, this is this person, this happened, and this is everything about their life. No, I can bring up certain aspects like, oh, this person broke their leg and they got hit by a truck and that's what caused them breaking their leg, but I can't bring their name or age or anything like that into there. So I think that's really, really unique and something that I hope to see in the business overall. But I'm proud that you guys were one of the first to come up with that. And that's something to be celebrated.
Yeah, that was huge because we wanted to be able to allow people to get into the medical industry or the healthcare industry, right? And we had some people who were actually in the middle of doing big deals with the hospitals for the
Okay.
service, and obviously you can't have that without HIPAA compliance. So HIPAA compliance basically makes it so that no calls are transcribed or recorded, and we don't have
Right.
that information either.
Right. And that's a really easy solution for a really sort of complex idea, right? Behind HIPAA is kind of complex when it comes down to all the nuances and you get down into the nitty gritty of it. It's like the game of golf, right? The game of golf is really easy when you think about it, right? You're just taking sticks and swinging down on a golf club or on a golf ball and watching it fly, and it's got to go into the hole, right? Really easy, but when you get into the nitty gritty, selecting which club you use, selecting how to, what type of swing you're going to do. Are you going to do a full swing, a half swing? It gets more complex the deeper you go into it. So I think that's a really neat solution that you guys came up with there.
Thank you. Yeah. And I just want to retouch on what we were talking about when I got kicked off the call earlier. So
yeah, absolutely.
Just to rehash that, basically, for the average call center in America, an 8-hour paid workday is only taken up by 2.7 hours of actual talk time for the average setter. So that means 5.3 hours is useless. You're paying them an average of around $25 per hour for 5.3 hours. You can do the math. It's like $130 or so. And,
right.
and that's per person. So with our TAC, the way I always explain it is that you only have to pay the 2.7 hours, but really now you can pay for the whole 8 hours, but they're actually calling for the whole 8 hours and doing triple what a human could do or more. So that's the better explaining it, but it's a lot of times confusing to explain it that way.
Because the other aspect is too that you were kind of touching on, but didn't really go into too deeply is motivation, right? Energy and all that. AI is always going to have it. It's always going to be there. It's always going to be presented and it's always going to be well mannered. Humans, you run the risk of them having a bad day. Maybe they spill their coffee on themselves on their way to work and their mood's ruined and their energy's down, right? So that's another really unique aspect of conversational AI that we get to see more value out of, and it's a lesser seen, right? Lesser known value, because we think, well, a human can do just as good as a AI can, but can a human do as good as an AI can at 3 o'clock in the morning, right at 8 o'clock when they're punching in for their shift, right? These are all things that, that are gonna make or break customers sometimes, right? They have times that they're available and they gotta make these calls. Someone's in there picking up the phone in the call center, and you're relying on them to be able to be exactly what you need them to be at that moment, at any given moment, right? So that's another plus for conversational AI and Novaecho.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't know if you guys have ever managed a sales or customer service team before, but both jobs are not the most fun to do. No one loves doing a million cold calls. Nobody loves taking, customer complaints. Hey, because whenever you call customer service, you're usually not very happy. And customer service people spend their whole day talking to negative people. And it's not a fun job.
Right.
Either a setting, because you're calling people who are also negative. Get off the phone. I don't want to talk to you. Why are you calling me, right? So these people have very high turnovers. They leave. They're very rarely actually motivated to work hard, especially in customer service, because they're not paid on commissions. And like you said, they're not easy to manage either, because they don't want to do their work. If people don't want to do their work, they're not going to do it to the same extent as somebody who would love doing their work. And the AI is programmed to love it. So that's
right.
why it works so much better.
Right. So just to wrap up here, what does the future hold for Novaecho? What are some things that you can share about in the future here that you would be willing to share to everybody, potential investors, potential people looking to use the platform? What does the future hold for Novaecho?
Yeah, great question. So right now we're raising our seed round, and we're looking to raise enough money to start really building our brand, making ourselves known, make sure that we become a big player in this market quickly and take up a lot of market share very quickly, because this market is gigantic. It's a $4.9 trillion market cap right now. It's expected to be a lot more within the next couple of years, because a lot of money is spent on commissions and hourly pay and customer service. Every business needs it. So we're looking to just make ourselves really known. And then we're also planning on raising again later this year, possibly early next year, in order to start really building some amazing technology on top of what we already have, possibly building our own large language models. So that's what we're looking forward to in the future. But right now, it's really all about growth and becoming known.
Awesome. Joey, thank you so much for coming on to the show today. Guys, Novaecho, if you guys are interested in conversational AI and making it work for you instead of having a bunch of humans do it that are worthless and not near as energetic or profitable as conversational AI will be, please check out Novaecho.ai. Give that demo a try. I promise you guys won't regret it. And Joey, again, thank you so much for coming on to the show today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
And then really quickly, guys, I'm just going to go over some things for myself and the show that we have going on. My show is heavily connected with my Twitch. It goes back and forth. I personally today have a giveaway going on for a copy of the Outlast Trials. It is available on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox across all three platforms. So I will be able to give it away regardless of who wins. All that matters is that you are present, and you are present during the time of the drawing today. So please tune in for that. The month of May, guys, is coming up quick, and that entire month I am going to be doing a fundraiser for the Team Campbell Foundation. And what they are is they are a company devoted to giving back to families that deal with pediatric cancer. Little bit of backstory behind that. All the way back while I was in middle school, I'm 22 years old now. So a few years back, I had a younger cousin pass away while she was 8 years old. And she passed away from brain and spine cancer. And her immediate family then went on to go and put up this organization to help fight pediatric cancer as a whole, but more specifically as well, brain and spine cancer. And so the entire month of May, all of the proceeds except for 10%, 10% will go back towards my community, but the other 90% that I make will be going towards that organization, as well as any of you guys who are willing to pitch in and give some funds over to the organization. The month of May also happens to be brain cancer awareness month. So that's why we're doing that in the month of May. Thank you guys so much. I've got some funds I'm putting specifically towards Conversations. If you guys are a Conversations founder or a Conversations VIP, please, I will be making a post later on DSO. Let me know what you guys want me to upgrade, what you guys want to see happening here on the channel, and I will do my best to answer what you guys are looking for. Thank you so much again, guys. Thank you, Joey.
Love that.
You're welcome.
See you guys.